Room mics are like the secret ingredient that adds that extra magic to your drum sound, bringing everything together into a cohesive masterpiece. Now, before we begin, let's take a moment to appreciate the power of room mics. First, let's listen to the drums without the room mic and then we'll introduce it to hear the difference it makes. The room mic adds a whole new dimension to the drum sound, giving it a sense of depth and unity. But here's where things get really interesting: how we compress the room mics can dramatically shape the overall drum sound. Remember, you don't need fancy gear to achieve great results. Even a basic compressor plugin, like this one in Studio One, can do wonders. It's all about how you set it up. So, let's listen to what happens when we insert the compressor into the room mic channel. Just like we did with the individual drums, our goal is to make the room mics breathe with the track. To achieve this, we'll set a relatively long attack time and a shorter release time, allowing the compression to follow the natural ebb and flow of the music. But here's the secret sauce: crank up the ratio control to around 10:1 or higher. This will emphasize the room ambience even further. Let's dial it in and take a listen. By using compression on our room mics, we've taken the punchiness of the drums to a whole new level. It adds that professional touch and elevates the overall mix. Remember, it's crucial to listen to the compressed room mics together with the rest of the drums. This way, you'll achieve a cohesive and powerful sound. Now, let's compare the drums with and without the compressed room mics, so you can hear the difference it makes. These subtle tweaks can really transform your drum sound. But what if we want to emphasize the room ambience even more? Well, I've got a little trick up my sleeve. We'll crank up the gain of the room mics and increase the ratio a bit more. And yes, we'll add even more compression. By pushing the limits further, we're giving that room sound the spotlight it deserves. Let's have a listen with and without the compressor engaged. This technique is a favorite among mix engineers, and you've probably heard it on many records. It's a great way to add that extra punch and character to your drum tracks. To summarize, here's the step-by-step process for compressing your drum room mics to achieve that cohesive and impactful drum sound. Start by listening to the drums without the room mic to understand the impact it adds to the overall sound. Insert a compressor plugin on the room mic channel. Remember, you don't need expensive gear to get great results. Set the attack time relatively long to allow the natural transients of the drums to come through, and the release time relatively short to ensure the compression follows the dynamics of the music. Increase the ratio control to around 10:1 or higher. This emphasizes the room ambience, giving your drums a more spacious and immersive feel. Listen to the compressed room mics together with the rest of the drums, rather than soloing them. This helps create a cohesive and balanced drum sound. Take a moment to compare the drums with and without the compressed room mics to hear the significant difference it makes in terms of punch and clarity. If you want to emphasize the room ambience further, you can increase the gain of the room mics and push the ratio even higher. Finally, listen again to the heavily compressed room mics and appreciate the intensified punch and character they bring to your drum tracks. By following these steps, you can effectively compress your drum room mics to achieve a polished and professional drum sound that's full of impact and ambience. Remember, the key is to experiment, trust your ears, and let your creativity guide you. Happy mixing!